Hi everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is a Q&A episode. I got one person actually sending me a few questions today, so let's get to it. And it's Benjamin from Hong Kong. Is Coloborhynchus a relative of Tropionathus? Does Lythronax look more like Tyrannosaurus than Daspletosaurus? And does Zuniceratops look like large ceratopsians? So to your first question, is Coloborhynchus a relative of Tropionathus? Well, when I actually looked these up not too long ago, they are related to each other. It's just that I think they're found in different continents, and I think their size is a tad bit different. Because Coloborhynchus is estimated to be 23 feet in wingspan, whereas Tropionathus is actually estimated possibly between 27 and 29 foot wingspan, and so that's kind of large. And they actually show some of the same features, like they have that crest on the beak on them, so that believes that they're actually part of the ornithochirid type of family. And so yeah, they are related to each other. It's just that I think they're found in separate continents, but even though they're kind of closely because they're kind of close to each other in terms of time, but they're both found in the Cretaceous rocks. So there you have it. They actually are related to each other. Does Lythronax look more like Tyrannosaurus rex than Daspletosaurus? Well, when we look at Lythronax, it's actually a medium-sized tyrannosaur. The only features that actually show that it's actually kind of almost like Tyrannosaurus rex is the skull. And when we actually look at the skull of Lythronax, it has the same back of the skull expansion as does Tyrannosaurus rex, and also has nearly the same snout as Tyrannosaurus rex. So that actually shows that it actually has near similar appearances to Tyrannosaurus rex and Daspletosaurus. But even though it does have some features of like what is like Daspletosaurus, like it has more of like these hornlets, the eye hornlets above its eyes. So that actually gives it Daspletosaurus type of characteristic. And also, I think it's actually a little bit more of a slender animal than it is with Daspletosaurus. Daspletosaurus is not as slender as because Daspletosaurus is not as slender as Lythronax, and so Lythronax would actually have a little bit more speed than Daspletosaurus, but basically they would have probably nearly the same jaw strength, and so that actually gives a very powerful bite amongst these tyrannosaurs. And so their tyrannosaur characteristic is powerful bite force. There are some tyrannosaurs that don't have a very high bite force because of their elongated snouts, but that's basically how it is. Is that if you have an elongated snout, like Chianzosaurus, which is also known as Pinocchio Rex. So those would actually be the one. That'll be the one that would actually not have a very strong bite. Albertosaurus would actually have a slightly stronger bite than Chianzosaurus, but you get the point. And so Lythronax actually has some features that are actually both on Tyrannosaurus rex and Daspletosaurus, but it actually does have the one skull feature the skull features that are very closely towards Tyrannosaurus rex. And does Zuniceratops look like large ceratopsians? In a way, it does. Zuniceratops is actually a small to medium-sized ceratopsian. It is considered part of the primitive ceratopsian group because it doesn't actually have the types of features that the other large ceratopsians actually have, like Styracosaurus, Centrosaurus, Triceratops, Torosaurus. List goes on and on. So it does look a lot like Triceratops in a way, but the thing is that makes it different from Triceratops is that it does not have a nose horn, and also there's holes on the back on the frill, 2 holes on the frill, and so that would make it that the frill is not as strong, and also the headgear of Zuniceratops would actually suggest that they probably very rarely did head-to-head combat that much in mating season, but they probably could. They probably did have like pushing and shoving matches, probably not like ramming each other to the point where like both of them got pretty dizzy and all that sorts of stuff, but I don't see them actually ramming each other. But I do see them doing pushing and shoving matches. That'll be the same thing like Protoceratops would be doing, pushing and shoving matches, not ramming each other in the head, not ramming each other's heads. And so pretty much I would say that Zuniceratops would actually is pretty much like Triceratops in a way, but it does not have the nose horn, and also does not have a solid bone frill. Most ceratopsians have holes on their frills. Triceratops and Eotriceratops are actually probably some of the few that actually have a solid bone frill where they don't show any holes, and that shows that basically they're using their frills for not only just for display purposes but also for defense in a way. And so there you have it with Zuniceratops. Alright, that's it for now. Next week would actually be a special episode, and so I'll let you guys know what kind of prehistoric animal I'm going to talk about. I'm actually thinking about doing a mammal this time, and so I'm actually thinking about a carnivorous mammal, and I'll let you guys know what kind of a carnivorous mammal I'll be talking about, and so stay tuned for that. But you guys can still send me questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you can actually post your questions on the wall or in the Facebook page or in the comment section. Remember to keep your questions short to the point. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of the people around you. Also, for you younger people out there, and make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. And sorry if I actually kind of sound a little bit funny, because I'm kind of going through a little bit of a cold here, but I think I'm actually getting pretty close to being fully healthy. But anyhow, I'm going to show you one thing from this museum, and any of you that actually know about the Ice Age in North America, you should actually know what this thing is. This is actually the skull of the giant short-faced bear, or Totosinus. And so this is a specimen that was found on the La Brea tar pits. You can kind of tell by the chocolate color, and you can see those large canine teeth that it actually has. Open the jaws, you can see how wide the jaws can actually open. And so this is a pretty nasty animal to actually take a look at. And so this is a menace here, and you can see the very short snout, and when I give it the name, the short-faced bear. And so this is a pretty hefty animal, and so I would not be daring to be in a dark alley with this guy. So, and basically this is an older individual, because if you actually look at the back molars, they're kind of flat. So that would suggest that it's a very old individual, because it worn out those back teeth, and the canines are actually kind of a bit worn out too from crushing bones. So there's some bone spalling going on from this individual. But anywho, this is one thing that is from the Colossal Fossils Museum in Wausau, Wisconsin, and this Saturday is actually the last weekend that we're going to be open until June, and so June will be back open for the summer, and I'll be actually running the place. So make sure you come on down to Wausau and actually come out and check out Colossal Fossils, and also be sure to check out colossalfossils.com to look at our traveling schedule, and you can actually catch us in wherever town or city that we're actually going to be in, and you might actually get to see this guy in the traveling dates. So be sure to check out this guy. He is very cool. And so anywho, so that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next week.